Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to a new episode of the Late Night Lake Show podcast powered by Prize Picks. It is your host, Ricky, Kwame, and Jody. The Los Angeles Lakers pick up a Game 2 victory. They win their home opener, defeating the Phoenix Suns 105-100 last night in a game that once again, they start down double digits. The Lakers pulled out a gutsy fourth quarter performance in which they outscored the Suns by 17 points behind some real gritty, tough-nosed defense from the Lakers bigs, topped off by another vintage LeBron James clutch performance. And I do want to emphasize the clutch part. So we gonna get into everything last night's game and then take a look ahead to Sunday's game against the Sacramento Kings. So make sure you are subscribed to the Late Night Lake Show podcast wherever you get your hashtag good content. Fellas, I was really not trying to start another season 0-2. Mentally, it just gives you too many vibes of last year. And yes, it's a completely different feeling heading into this year. You can't drop 0-2, first one to the Nuggets, second one to the Suns, and you're both in your conference. Kwame, Jody, quick initial takeaways from last night's game before we hand out some awards.
I say my takeaway is they show that they can get it done. Ugly. I appreciate ugly wins. So they show that they can do it, and LeBron looked like he was able to still get to the bucket at will back to back when it really matters. So I guess that's always good. And AD, he looked good to me too, as far as, and that's what really matters as far as what I'm concerned.
Yeah, I would agree there. I think it showed that this team has some fight in them. Last year, if we were in that same situation, we would have laid down and just taken that whooping. And
Yep.
so to have that fight to be able to rally and come back in the fourth quarter was really dope. LeBron has showed that he can still reach a gear that not many in the league can. He took over from all aspects, from controlling the game on offense as the facilitator, scoring when he needed to, finding the right man. So what we've come to see from LeBron for years, and I know everybody's expecting the fall off, but every time we see him, it's like, man, nah, I don't think we're quite there yet. So to be honest, my game ball got to go to LeBron, man. I mean, I know a lot's been talked about his minutes and it being and them being cut. We saw in the Denver game 1, only played about like 29 minutes last night. Blew that out the water. Really contributed down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Just had some really amazing plays, man. So that's my guy. I'm super happy to see that he can still do it when need to. I hope we don't have to break that glass in case of emergency all the time. But it's nice to know that it can still happen when need be. But just watching them facilitate was some beautiful stuff. So honestly, I got to give it to LeBron. Anthony Davis had a really good game as well. A little slow out the gate, but he really started to turn it up in the second half, especially that fourth quarter. I think he had like 12 points in the fourth. He had a phenomenal game. He's making quick decisions. He caught the ball. He went up quickly. He didn't take too much time to stand there, wait for the double teams to come. He caught it with 2 feet in the paint and tried to dunk it down. I really enjoyed it. Him and Christian Wood had a great pairing, so to speak. But I mean, to be honest, I think there was a really great performance in the first 3 quarters with some ugly basketball, especially by our guards. But LeBron James got to be the star last night. I don't think we can put it any other way. He's got to be the star.
I was a little
Yeah.
worried that Kwame would have the pitchforks out early for AD, man. To put it lightly, Kwame just wants to see AD succeed night in and night out, and when he's not doing that, he has some choice words for the Lakers franchise big man. Jody, who you giving out the game ball to?
Yeah, I'm a, I'm a, I'm gonna give the game ball to AD just to get on people's nerves, just because obviously, you know, going scoreless in the second half against Jokic of all people after you just got swept. Um, it's a way to start the season for sure, but I also want to give credit to. I mean, at the end of the day, that is Jokic, and so we believe AD is who he is. So at least he should look how he looked against Nurkic. And he looked like that. It looked like it was AD versus, you know what I'm saying? And hey, you only play who you're, up against and you take care of them. So I feel like he took care of business, especially as, he came on to the game. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it to AD just because obviously we know Brian, did what he did, but no, I don't want to just double up. So I'm gonna definitely give it to AD because he at least showed up and like you said, 12 points in the fourth quarter. We probably don't win that game if we don't get those 12 points from them. So, I'm gonna just
Absolutely.
bank on what they do.
It's funny. We are used to this, right? Or at least we should accept getting used to this. A frustrating 80 performance, wondering where the hell he went, and then follows it up with a strong, dominating game, 30 and 12. 80 averaged that on a season, I don't think anybody would complain, right? It's just the other side, right? It's the 17-point games. It's the 15 and 0 in the second half, right? That I think a lot of people end up pulling out their hair and trading him for marginal pieces that will never make sense for his value. So shout out to Anthony Davis. I
The
would
Late
have
Night
to
Lake Show
also
podcast is
agree
sponsored
with
by
Kwame. I
Prize
got to give it
Picks.
to the old
Prize
man. And I'm
Picks
gonna,
is the best legal
in all
way
due
to play
respect,
daily
LeBron, but
fantasy
I'm gonna have
player
to give it to
props
the elder
in states
statesman
like
of the league.
California,
It's
New York,
it's an honor and a
Texas, and
privilege to
more.
watch this
You
man
pick 2 to 5
continue to
players and an
hit those
over/under on their
high gears.
projections,
And when
and
he
you can win
does,
up
it's
to
like,
10 times on
I don't
any
really know
entry.
too many
The
players
best part
that are
is
doing
you
it
can
like
mix
he's
players
doing
from
it,
different
right? And
sports.
LeBron's
You can take the
another
over on
efficient game,
LeBron
and
combined with the under
I
on
think he'll
Mahomes in the
retire
same
playing
entry.
efficient
Prize
basketball.
Picks
I
is
don't
the
really see
easiest
LeBron
way
ever
to play
turning into
daily
just a
fantasy
chucker.
because it's
If
just
anything,
you
he'll just start
versus the
taking less and
projected
less shots,
numbers.
right? But you're always
Just
going to
use our
see him
promo code
shooting around or
LNLS,
above
and any
50% from the
deposit you
field,
make can receive a
really locking
100%
in,
instant
running the
deposit match
floor, being the
up to
fastest guy
$100.
down the
So go
court, and
support the
it
brand
really
and
not
go win
making
you some
sense as to
money.
why.
It's the best of
But
both worlds.
this is what he
Again, use
does.
our promo
And I just
code
hope everybody's
LNLS.
appreciative of what we're watching. No, I probably would not bet that LeBron can do this night in and night out. But on the nights that we probably need it, it's good to know that he can still tap into that those turbo boosters and pull out a strong fourth quarter performance in which he played every single minute. The hell with the minutes restriction. Darvin Ham needed a victory in game 2. So
Had it been up to Darvin, he would have took him out and let us go down by 12,
Yeah.
13, or like 25 or some shit like that, and be like, all right, well, you go ahead and go back in, and we'll just like I don't get it, but I gotta assume that that's gonna get better in time. I just have to assume that as the season goes on. In his second year as a head coach.
well, you got to show that you are doing it right. And I think overall, Coach Ham drew up from an offensive perspective a lot of open looks for the Lakers. Kwame is going to have some stats for us a little later on that are a little scary. But when you looked at the basketball game and you go and you do the rewatch, the Lakers had quality shots. They were open. It's just a matter of knocking them down, winning the non-LeBron minutes, right? That is, stop us if you heard this before. The Lakers in non-LeBron minutes end up losing more times than not. And that, it just can't happen, especially if LeBron James is at this point in his career. And you want to save these great moments for when you absolutely need them. Let's get into our second segment, which is our play of the game. And while I get this queued up, Kwame, you provided our first play of the game of this season.
Yeah, so I mean, Lakers been battling back. It's tied 87 up. LeBron splits the double team, gets an easy layup at the rim. Like, that's our first lead of the game, man. Like, or the fourth quarter. Like, this is the turning point. We've been tied. We were allergic to taking the lead. Couldn't quite grasp it. Every time we got within 3, the Suns went on a mini run and we were back down 6, 7, 8, 9. And we could never get it. But this play right here was the one that got us our first lead in that fourth quarter, and we never looked back. So honestly, that's got to be my play of the game. It was a struggle all night, and you can see the crowd even start to erupt a little bit once he makes the layup because it was just such a huge play. We needed that. We needed it, and the old man provided. I mean, hey, that's 6'9" splitting a blitz on a screen right there.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
a big boy doing that. So, guards aren't even that great at splitting screens. And Braun just kind of bullied his way through and got the nice layup. So, to me, that was a huge turning point in our game. I got to give it to this one. So, again, the
Jody,
old
you got
man
that in
does
your
it.
bag, man?
Absolutely not.
I'm tripping over
You got the
feet.
split, bro?
It's bad.
Quab? No.
Nah, I'm tripping over feet. I'm hitting my head on the court.
Yeah,
It's
first
not
of all,
good, bro.
I'm not even about to I would have damn near tried to pass the ball. I would have definitely not split a double team like that because you got to really be fine with like going through 2 different legs while pushing the ball not too far away from you that you actually lose the ball, but keep it in stride to also get it, gather, and then make the that's
Ooh,
not
look at the turn.
like look at that. You got to get the ball, still gather,
just 5
and then he
feet
did the up and under with the that's not this is
Not
not easy. Like they make it look easy, but it's not easy. So absolutely not. I'm not, no way.
He said left to right.
Look at that.
Stop. On a Nurkic almost broke his leg, brother.
Yeah, man. The hard blitz, and he got burned on it. That's a very tough move and a great read by LeBron. And like I said, we were really looking for a way to get the lead. We could just not get it, and he was able to provide it on that layup. So huge turning point for us. And like I said, we never look back from that point.
Never look back. Appreciate you providing that one, Kwame. LeBron, man, he just, I don't know, just it sometimes it don't make sense. We watch Victor Wembanyama out here, man, and his debut, and you're like, that's an alien. This don't make sense. Like, shoot, LeBron might be one of the original aliens, not from this planet, right? And the fact that he doing it 38, gonna be 39 in a little bit, I can't say enough about the dude. All right, well, let's move into our next segment, which is our stat of the night. And I lied to you, fellas. I had something else as our stat of the night, but I'm going to flip it over to this. Plus 23. That is Christian Wood's plus minus for tonight. He also joined LeBron James and Anthony Davis in playing every single minute of the fourth quarter, and we needed it. Boys, I was about to pull my hair out. Gonna have to start all this over, bald spots, whatever, man. If the Lakers didn't start effing rebounding last night. I was looking at that starting lineup, and it was Anthony Davis out there trying to contest shots, and then nobody else around the rim to get the rebounds. Or it was AD as the primary defender, and nobody else around to get the rebounds. I asked the timeline, how many rebounders do the Lakers have in the starting lineup? Over, under 1.5. A lot of people weren't too sure. But in comes Christian Wood. And again, we have to give credit where credit is due. Darvin Ham, thank you for making that adjustment. Playing C. Wood more with Anthony Davis out there. He ends up pulling down, 10 rebounds yesterday. But more importantly, that plus 23. And even more importantly, that clutch defense that he was playing on Kevin Durant last night. Fellas, what we got to say about C. Wood and his minutes, boys?
I was pleasantly, I don't even want to say pleasantly surprised, but I was genuinely happy, but it also made me think he really is in their plans. They have real ideas with him. I seen the pluses of what he can bring, because him and AD worked well together. They looked like they had a few moments where you were like, okay, these guys might really be able to make something shake. And I think his versatility offensively really just makes them devastating offensively. It's along with LeBron, you know what I'm saying? As well as him being as tall as he was, and he wasn't playing bad defense on KD at all. Obviously, KD is going to get his, but he was a willing participant and was doing what he could defensively, to try to help our cause. And as you say, 10 rebounds, people don't realize, man, when you rebound, whether it's offensive or defensive, you're securing possessions. You're securing the ball. Like that is it is vital to victory. Rebounds are vital to success in any level of basketball that you play. So, him being able to fill that role and Darvin being able to pull that string and make sure that he was in there that whole time. And then he got to the party late. This is not a guy that's been with the team all summer and been in the group chat and at the little team things that they have famously talked about that they did, and they were out together and everybody trained together, and he wasn't a part of that. So for him to be able to do that, he got the trust of the coaching staff and his teammates now, obviously, because he showed up and showed out. So I think that's going to be good for the future of the season.
That's such a great point, man. Seawood did not have a normal offseason. The man was trying to find a home. I'm sure his training regimen and everything, right, was a little up in the air. Kwame, your thoughts on Seawood's plus 23 last night?
I mean, he was great last night, man. In that whole fourth quarter, I mean, on both ends of the floor, he brought that little bit of burst of energy that we had been looking for all game long. And honestly, I'll give a little credit to Darvin Ham for pulling that lever. I mean, even though he had the insane blunder in the third quarter where he was playing LeBron at the 5, and we have two other centers on the roster. Couldn't understand that, but then I'll give it to him. He made up for it with Christian Wood in the fourth. So we'll call his deeds. We'll call it all good. But Christian Wood was great, man. He was really great. His defense on Kevin Durant. It was actually really smart by the coaching staff to put him on Kevin Durant, because when they were running that Nurkic screen with Durant, and they would just switch it with Wood and AD. So Kevin Durant always had length in his face. He could not get away from the long athletes right in front of him. I thought that was a really wise move, because he was shooting over our little guys all game long. Torian Prince, Cam Reddish, Austin Reeves. He was just getting whatever he wanted. But what a great late game adjustment by putting.
And they weren't playing bad defense.
They weren't. He's just great offense. That's a Hall of Fame generational player, off one of the greatest offensive talents we've ever seen. So it's just better. So giving that little bit of extra length, though, to disrupt him a little bit really worked in the fourth quarter to kind of cool him off. So Christian Wood was a huge part of that. Like you said, I mean, he played 21 minutes, yanked down 10 rebounds, gave us 7 points. He did his thing. So honestly, I hope a big takeaway from this is that in a lot of matchups where teams may be a little bigger, that they run them together. He's shown that he's capable on defending multiple positions. I would say from 3, 4, and 5. I would say he could hold his own. His synergy with Anthony Davis was incredible. I saw some really good high-low. They ran a pick and roll with each other. Like, the talent there was incredible. So I really hope that they hit that button a little bit more when the matchups are advantageous. Obviously, it won't be every night. Some nights Jackson Hayes will get the better look. Some days it'll be small ball LeBron at the 4. I don't really want to see him at the 5 really ever, but I really hope that the Christian Wood dynamic has been unlocked, because they were really, really polished in that fourth quarter. So Steve Wood, man, I have nothing but good things to say from the last game. He's really impactful in the minutes he played, and it was beautiful to see. So I really hope we can see some more of him moving forward.
They said my man was just here to get shots up. Just here to shoot. He don't play defense. He don't do this. He don't do that. Well, he played some defense last night. He played some defense, and he brought down some rebounds, which we're going to need to see a continuation of that content. That I don't know if this directly came at the hands of Christian Wood playing well, but Rui Hachimura just got lost in the sauce last night as far as Darvin Ham's rotations. I know they're still sifting through these rotations, figuring out what sticks, what makes sense. And when you have a hot hand, right, these are things that you have to ride. But there were other decisions you could have had. Just give us some Hachimura in that work. Even him in the second half with AD, that combo ended up, producing some good runs for the Lakers. But I don't know, Jody. We talked about it all offseason about it being a quote unquote good problem to have with the wing depth that the Lakers went from 0 to 1,000. But do you think someone's going to end up with the short end of the stick every night, or can Darvin Ham figure out how to get everybody involved through the rotation?
I mean, honestly, I think this is one of those situations where they're going to have to be competitors. And it's one of those 2 dogs, 1 bone situation. And if you want to get on the court, you're going to have to play good. And here's the thing about it. You're have gotten paid, or you're trying to get your rep better in the league to get paid. And to do that, you need to play well, and you need to be a good teammate. And so Rui, he needs to hoop. And I assume the more he does that, the more he's going to play, because he's hooping. It's in the 2023-24 Lakers, like, nobody is looking for a deal from a team, hopefully, or what I'm saying, like, everybody's getting paid. Everybody's gotten paid, so it's going to be the best players is going to play. So you also expect Darvin to not be a buffoon like he did in Chicago last year, where you just, for no reason,
DMP.
By his own admission, you forget that you have. I don't know how you forget a guy that's looking at you like a puppy every time you look down your
bench. That you just traded for, too.
That you just traded for. Like, everybody knows what it's like when you're on the bench and you waiting for the coach to say who's about to go in the game. Like everybody wants to get in the game, so you all looking like, damn, I'm ready to go in the game. So what the fuck are you talking about? So obviously we don't want Darvin to like, you know, uh, have his head up his ass and just not give him a chance. But I feel like as long as Rui hooping, he gonna be on that court, and as long as he's playing defense, he gonna be on that court. I think we have yet to see Max Christie really make his
just about to say, guess how many minutes Max played last night?
Like and he's basically in a contract year, or he literally is in a contract year for the Lakers and for the NBA. So but the thing about it is it's a long season, and we starting off with two primetime marquee matchups that everybody's watching. Darvin probably wanted to go with with height and guys that have actually been there and done things. Like I was watching Cam Reddish do everything he could to stay in front of KD and contest his shots, and KD was just shooting over him. But I was sitting there thinking, like, man, I think Cam Reddish might be kind of okay for some spot minutes on Devin Booker if we can, if when we match up with them, and like maybe we'll see how he affects him. You know what I'm saying? And then we just kind of go from there. But I think it's going to be interesting though.
Cam and Max feel like an either or right now. Clearly, Darvin does not see them sharing complementary minutes.
Right.
I mean, you said Darvin's used to the people he's used to. Was Cam with him in Atlanta? I don't think so. Like Cam has been thrusted to be given every opportunity to show why he should stay on the court. And if you probably ask Lakers fans with some true serum in there, it's a little bit of good and a little bit of bad. The good ends up being his defensive activity and his hustle and his, overall effort. The bad is still the reason why folks are questioning how much longer he's going to be in the league, which is, brother, you got to score.
Right.
You gotta do what you're here to do. They said you're a shooter. You got to hit your threes. You especially got to hit your LeBron James spoon-fed threes, right? That counts as double points if you're going all to your credibility, right?
Right.
So to me, it feels like Darvin is giving Cam every opportunity right now, mostly because he knows he's getting a little bit towards the end of his rope as far as that first round of, all right, is he going to be in this league past 5 years, or is it going to be a little bit of G League / overseas action? But at the same time, that kind of puts Max in a city situation, since he also was on that 2-year plus a team option, however the Lakers front office decided to set it up. He's playing for his career and his next stop as well, right? So, it gets a little tough, but as you said, it's early. Hopefully we start to see a little bit more Max Christie content. Hopefully Darvin figures out what's the rotation, especially with Vando coming back soon. Question mark? Right? How Rui and Vando and Taurean Prince and Cam Reddish all float within those minutes. Let's move to our next segment. Kwame, you are going to be tracking for us this year the number one stat of the Lakers' health for Lakers fans. That 3-point shooting percentage. Brother, do you have good news for us? Game 2 of the NBA season.
No. The Lakers shot a phenomenal, when I say phenomenal, I'm absolutely lying to you guys, a phenomenal 5 of 29 from the field last night, 17.2%.
You said phenomenal with the F.
With an F. Man, it was tough, man. And on the season, we're up to 25.9% through 2 games. It's early, but so far the shooting's looking a little suspect right now. But hey, the nice thing to say is we're getting the looks. We are getting the looks. We're just not knocking them down. So hopefully, law averages, things start to get a little better, and we get closer to that high 30 mark. But it's a little dark in these first 2 games, and our guards have not shot it well, not one bit. D'Angelo Russell last night, 1 for 7, 14%. Sheesh. Gabe Vincent, 0 for 5. Like, you're not even making them. Cam Reddish, 0 for 3. Christian Wood, 0 for 2. Braun, 1 for 5. So, like, these guys are, and again, I don't remember too many looks being like bad looks. For the most part, they were pretty good shots, just they didn't go. So again, hoping law of averages cool in. I hope the early season jitters kind of shake out, but 3-point shooting hasn't been great this year. And again, the scouting report in the Lakers for the past 2 years was literally let them shoot. And I think teams are going to consistently stick to that strategy until we prove them otherwise. And I think we have the talent to do it. Just got to convert them, baby. It's a make or miss league, so just got to
And
make them.
a point that I wanted to say about that, because one of our better shooters, obviously Austin Reeves, Austin has played so much basketball
Yeah.
Yeah.
like in a short amount, like he went from a full NBA season to a long postseason. Because wasn't each round we
Team
played 6
USA.
games or no 6-6-4?
Yeah.
So you play 82. Well, he probably played 70. What? How many games he probably played last year? Do we know?
Yeah,
Probably 70s. He's
probably
around
low
70s.
70s, high 60s. Yeah,
That's what I say.
probably low
Like a
70s.
majority of an NBA season, then you got to playoffs, then you playing in Olympic games, then you training for the new season, then you come back and you playing full. And like I think it's going to be a minute before we actually get some real consistent positive shooting out of Austin for stretches of time, just because I know that he's probably exhausted, honestly, and he's one of our better and more clutch shooters on the team, honestly.
Austin played 61 games last year. Lower
61. Hey, it
than I
seemed like he
remember. I've
played
been
more
trying to
than that.
remember what the injuries were, but yeah, 61 games, pretty low. But yeah, to your point, he is not used to this new world that he has been thrusted into, right? When there's a lot of basketball, to your point. And if there's one person that looks like they have a little bit of hangover from last year and the summer, it's definitely AR. Kwame, I'm sure he'll figure it out. Some folks now are asking, was Austin better suited, coming off the bench with the second unit? Well, I'm not there yet, right? I think it just takes some time to get your sea legs back under you again, and he'll figure it out. But are you concerned about Austin's 3-point shooting or shooting overall, right, to start the season?
No, I mean, I think he's been pretty good through the 2 games. I mean, last night he was dealing with a ton of foul trouble, so he didn't really get to see the court as much as he probably would have liked. Only got to play about 27 minutes, and Gabe Vincent kind of ate up every residual minute possible in that regard. So again, I'm not too concerned about Austin just yet. I do agree with Jody, though. He has played a lot of basketball over the course of the last year. I think it's going to take him a little bit to get reacclimated. And again, still a very young player. I'm sure he probably hasn't played that much basketball at that high of a level that consistently in his career. So I'm sure it's still a little new to him, but he's probably on the lower end of my people I'm concerned about, I would say. I think Austin will figure it out and he'll be fine moving forward.
I said on the timeline yesterday, AR does not hoop like a boy from the farms of Arkansas.
No,
I would love to, and I'm sure he said it in interviews who his basketball inspirations were, but that man hoops like, he trying to break you off on his way to scoring. And, I can appreciate, a shooting guard with a little bit of flavor that he has. Austin will come around. We are sure of it. All right, fellas. So that is going to be our recurring segments for our post-game recaps. Maybe we'll have some fun over music, whatever. But let's just wrap it up. Biggest takeaways from the game. It could be anything that you saw. I guess I can kick it off. One thing that I'm still trying to wrap my head around, how they're going to go about their defensive rebounding if they're going to keep AD at the 5. You're at risk of being in holes to start a lot of games when other teams are a little bit more active and come out with a little bit more juice than you do. Folks have been questioning Anthony Davis's motor overall. Whatever, right? That's up for debate. Unfortunately, I think I'm more so concerned about his transition defense. We saw Jokic beat him up and down the court in game 1. But at the same time, if Anthony Davis is too busy trying to get shots around the rim, that leads to a lot of easy buckets for their big men if they're active. Additionally, when AD is on help defense, going to contest shots as he should, as one of the premier defensive players in the league, who else is crashing down and getting boards? Austin had 8 in game 1, right? He came back down to earth a little bit. Christian Wood stepped up last night. we'll see if there's going to be some bigger adjustments, no pun intended, going forward to try to secure some of these shots. Because the Lakers are contesting shots. They are making it hard for these players to get these looks. You got to grab the rebound or all of that is for naught. And it's almost worth 2 times because giving up offensive rebounds is deflating, especially after a strong defensive stint. Nothing worse than giving up a rebound, an easy bucket, or a kick out 3, and then it back to offense. So that's my biggest takeaway. What is the support going to be around Anthony Davis on transition? For Anthony Davis on transition defense, as well as how the Lakers are going to team rebound going forward. Maybe Vando, when he gets back, helps a little bit with that. But yeah, that's my takeaway. I'll kick it over to you, Jody. Which one of your takeaway from today?
It's good to have the majority of the team healthy outside of Vando, and they seem to have a fight, and I appreciate that. And as long as they got that, and we got LeBron and AD, I'm comfortable living with the results of them because they've shown me that they can take it far. We're just gonna see how far we can get it this year. Um, I don't even take nothing from the bad shooting performance last night because it was I just think it was due to early jitters, some new pieces, and it was it was a prime time game in front of the world, and then obviously they playing against a team with guys who don't have no pressure because one of their best player or 2 of their best players is out, and a lot of those guys are knowing this is going to be one of our time to get as much playing time as we can possibly get besides when those guys come back because we know we're probably not going to play the same amount. You know what I mean? So they were, of course, making like I think was his name Akogi. Akogi was making that. Like,
Gosh, yeah.
all right, you know how that is every time somebody's playing the Lakers. So I think as long as we don't start 2-10, 2-8, or however we started last year, we're gonna be good money. But hopefully this next game we can stack a win and get another one. I don't care how it comes, as long as we can get that win. So that's pretty much my takeaway. They shown that they got some fight early in the year, and as long as they got that, I think we're gonna win a lot of games.
I got 3 points. I got 3 points, and I'll try not to over talk here, but I got a couple. So 1, we got depth, but it is both good and bad. I think we're going to see for a while Darvin bobble a lot of lineups because there's too many folks and he's not going to manage them well. But also, a lot of players that we expect to play may miss their time to play because they're not doing what they need to. For example, Rui last night played about 12 and a half minutes, didn't grab a single rebound. You're not going to box out at 6'8". It's not, there's other guys who will. So if you're not going to do your job, as Jody had said earlier, if you're not going to play, you're not going to come out with that dog in you, that hustle, you got your money, whatever it needs to be, you need to go out and perform because there's other guys behind you that may be hungry as well. And they want to show what they can do too. So it's going to be a lot of opportunity and a lot of missed opportunity. And that's just going to be what the depth is going to cause. It's going to give in, it's going to take. So I think it's going to be an interesting season of how that depth is juggled and how players are going to respond to it. Because again, if you're not doing what you need to and you're not LeBron, Anthony Davis, and maybe Austin Reeves, your time can be cut. And so ain't nothing safe. My second point, this team desperately missed Vando last night. I will say, I think they missed his motor, his rebounding, his defense. I think a lot of the little things, when I look at our starting lineup, who's the guy who's really going to get down and do the dirty work? Austin, maybe. Torian, maybe. D'Lo's too cool for that. LeBron, old. AD got to do a lot to cover defensively already. So when you look at that, I think Vando was dearly missed. I think he will be missed. Again, in a lot of matchups where you do have these superstars, he's got to be the guy to help slow him down and be the rebounder, the guy who's gonna, throw his body around, dive on the floor, those types of things. And I think we really missed that energy hustle guy last night. Until Christian Wood kind of filled that role late in the game, we missed it for the first 3 quarters desperately. We could not get rebounds. And I think if Vando comes back, I assume he'll be inserted in that starting lineup. And I think he'll help make up for some of that rebounding deficiency we missed in the first 2 games. So I think Vando was dearly missed. And my final point, our guards are immensely unathletic, and it is bad. It is bad. And I noticed it last night that those guys in Phoenix, they have some jumpers, some leapers. I don't want to sit there and say, they're the most talented or skilled basketball players, but they were athletes. They were crashing the glass hard. They were running all over, flying all over defensively, and our guards struggled a little bit with that. We know D'Lo and his level of athleticism. When was the last time D'Lo's dunked the ball? I'm just curious. I mean,
I don't know. Louisville.
But again, it's like him, Gabe Vincent, you look at Austin Reeves, like not the most athletic group of people. And it's a little tough, especially on the defensive end when you get these high-powered guards. I think that's going to be another thing the teams are really going to press us on is these guys are not athletic. Push them, run. If we get the 50-50s, we're going to be in any game against this Lakers team. So I'm really curious to see how that develops down the line. But it's tough when you look at our starting lineup and our most athletic dude may be the guy in year 21. That is no bueno. That is not good.
Next game.
So, yeah, absolutely. When we play Sacramento and those guys are up and down, I'm a little nervous for our backcourt. And again, I think we got the skill. I think in half-court settings, we can play really well. But in up and down games, I get a little nervous about the unathleticism on our team in some areas. But again, great win. I don't want to take away from that. The team played really good. They had some dog in them. They came back, and it's always easy to harp on the good things or talk about the good things in a win. But there's a couple glaring things that I noticed, and I want to touch on those. So those are the 3 points that I noticed from last night that could be a little trouble down the line. But hopefully we can through 2 games we can remedy it all.
We do not care if they are pretty or ugly. We'll talk about them both. Yeah. But at the end of the day, all that matters is you picked up that W. Yeah. Because if the Lakers do that, I don't care if it's the worst looking basketball on the planet. If you end up winning every game, you're an NBA champion. That's true. That's just life. There's a lot of ways to go around it. Now, do we want to see traits and trends, right, and process and systems that look like a well-oiled machine? Absolutely. And we anticipate we'll see more of the Lakers gelling as we get into the season. God, you bringing up that the Lakers don't have athletic guards I'm gonna have to sit on that one for a minute because it's a little ironic, right?
I mean, Cam's the only.
It's a little ironic that the game 2 we're saying that the Lakers don't have athletic guards, and this time last year we had an athletic guard. It was literally the worst situation for both parties imaginable. So here we go. We're on the other side of the fence now, so we're going to have to ride with it for a little bit. But looking ahead to Sunday's game, the Lakers will be facing off against the Sacramento Kings, another tough, feisty, young team that is ready to, spoil some games out here. Harrison Barnes, my fake cousin, just going berserk. You can tell it's the start of the season because that is not in his personality trait that he is going off for 37 points in the halves and just losing his mind. Fellas, quick thoughts about the Sacramento Kings in the game Sunday before we get out of here.
They're going to definitely check that oil. They're definitely a live team. They're going to see, what's going on. That's not that I don't think that we can't beat them, but they're going to definitely see what's up. They probably feel like they're better than the Warriors, who the Lakers end up beating. So they probably felt like they wanted to see the Lakers or would have liked to see the Lakers, but now they got the opportunity. It's the beginning of the year, so everybody's juiced up. It's gonna be a battle. I would love for the Lakers to win this one. I might want us to win this game more than the last, or more than the game last night, just because this is one of those games that you're gonna need this win down the road in a Western Conference that's gonna be very, very stacked. So I'd like to get a win when they're not completely playing together all year. You know what I'm saying? I imagine they're probably gonna be harder to beat in the end of the season than they are in the beginning of the season. So I definitely don't want to blow that, that type of game. And hopefully we do for positive regression shooting from 3, because they definitely gonna make threes and shoot threes.
Yeah.
Kevin Herter might light us up for 25.
Yeah,
I got Red Mamba. Is that his name? Red Mamba?
Yeah. Is it? Yeah. Oh, that's fair. I'll be honest, I gotta agree with Jody there. I think I like what you said there. They're gonna check that oil. It's gonna be an interesting one, man. That team gets up and down, they're high energy, and we're gonna have to match it. We're going to have to match it. And again, that comes to my point where I'm a little afraid of our guards because De'Aaron Fox is a lightning bolt. He's gonna be all over up and down the court. How do we contain him? Especially again without probably our best one-on-one defender in Jared Vanderbilt. Who's going to draw that assignment? Is it going to be Torian? Is it going to be Austin Reeves? I know damn sure it shouldn't be D'Lo. So I'm just curious how we're going to be able to contain them. You got Malik Monk off the bench, who could be a spark plug. We had him, and we saw what he was able to do last year in Sacramento as well. But I expect a big game from Anthony Davis. Again, he's got another European center that's not Jokic, so I expect him to go berserk on him.
To dominate that one.
I expect him to go berserk. So I expect another, 28 and 12 performance out of him. So I expect some big things. I think LeBron will play well, but it's going to come down to how can we slow this team down and stop them from getting what they want. They're going to be at home. They're going to be thirsty to light that damn beam. So they want to get that win on us, and I know they are.
Hey, there's a lot of chance going to be. They're going to be out early.
There's a lot of bad blood between the Kings and the Lakers. They're coming to collect. So I expect them to come out swinging, and we're gonna have to respond. I know Sunday games historically have not been great for our Lakers, but they're gonna have to come out there and do something special, or we're gonna be ran out of the building real fast. So I think there's a lot of good potential, and I'm hoping for a win. We got to clean up some things, but I hope we have a solid game plan. I just hope the players show up to play, man. We cannot sleepwalk with this team, or they will literally blow the doors off of us.
Yeah. Don't get ugly.
The issue, the issue with Sunday games, I'll tell you right now, they stopped assigning white for the Sunday uniforms. That was a tradition. It went hand in hand, and they took it away. And the Lakers been cursed on Sundays, especially matinee games. I know it's a night game on Sunday this time, but that little noon to 2.
Ugh.
Hit DraftKings as quick as you can and then bet the other side. It's a new year. Hopefully we got new trends, and hopefully we're going back to the whites on Sunday. So be on the lookout for that. But we'll check in with y'all on Monday with the Lakers face off against the Sacramento Kings. The Los Angeles Lakers are 1-1. Thank the Lord. They did not start off another season 0-2. We are on the way into the NBA season. Eventually, we're going to start talking about not the play-in tournament, the mid-season tournament here in a couple of weeks. A lot of interesting stuff going down this season. James Harden not allowed on the team playing. Can't go nowhere. What else? Dwight Howard got a litany of issues that he's dealing with right now. Be who you are, but don't do no illegal shit. When you end up in the news for illegal stuff, that's how the world ends up talking about you.
Oh my God.
That's it for this episode of the Late Night Lake Show podcast. Appreciate you rocking with us. Make sure you are subscribed to us wherever you get your hashtag good content. For Jody and Kwame, it's Ricky. We'll see you on the timeline. Peace.